Hello and welcome to the Rangers Journal. My name is Kai Watson and today is the third episode in the series 5 Rangers players could sign. Today's league we're going to focus on is the Mozart-Bet Superliga, probably better known as the Serbian Superliga. Again, poll was put up on Twitter and this was the league that won the vote. So if you want to have any input on what league we look at next, I'll be putting up a poll on Twitter later today. So go look at the links down below, follow us on Twitter and you can have a say in what league we look at next. First player we're going to be looking at is a goalkeeper in Veljko Ilic. It's a 20-year-old Serbian goalkeeper. He's 6'5", plays for Baka Topola, again, obviously in the Serbian Super League. And his transfer market value, which we've added in after some comments because people were looking at players suggesting if we could afford them or not. So this is obviously transfer market's not 100% accurate, but I've decided to add that in just as kind of a general valuation. They obviously do base it off kind of data, previous player sales, so there could be something there in the value, but what they've got Ilic valued at is 1.7 million. I decided to look at a goalkeeper in this episode because of how well Jack Butland's been doing, and obviously there's chat of him being back in the England fold. I think if that does happen, he does make the Euro squad, even just based off of how well he's done for Rangers, that there may be English Premier League teams sniffing about in the summer. He obviously helps towards their homegrown quota, and the standard he's playing at is obviously I don't think even the most optimistic Rangers fan would have expected him to hit the levels he's hit. He's been absolutely superb for Rangers this season, saved us so many times, even just look at the Kilmarnock game. That save at 1-0 completely changes the game and allows us to build the platform to go and get the win. So based off of those reasons and the fact that unfortunately we may lose Butland in the summer, I decided to look at a goalkeeper. So just looking at some of Bilic's key stats, in 18 appearances he's kept 12 clean sheets, not conceded 12 goals, which is 0.7 per game, which is obviously incredible numbers, the type of numbers we'd expect from a Rangers goalkeeper. 8% save rate, averaging 2.7 saves per game. The 7.4 recoveries per game shows kind of how quick he is off his line and how good he is at sweeping those areas. Something we've really benefited from going from an aging Alan McGregor last season to Jack Butland this season. So Ilic brings that also. Saved 2 out of 4 penalties, which is a very impressive record. I'm not sure there'll be many keepers around Europe that have a 50% save rate for penalties, especially when numbers as high as 4. 78% pass accuracy. The keepers, obviously, Rangers have a lot of the ball, so the pass accuracy needs to be decent, and 78% is that. He also has 45% long ball accuracy, 4.6 successful attempts per game. Again, Philip Clement looks to kind of play direct, and it can even come from the keeper as well. So the fact that he has it's a very high percentage for long ball accuracy. So he's obviously good with the ball at his feet. He's good at rushing out. I think he's exactly what we need from a Rangers keeper. And just looking at, he was also nominated for the 2023 Golden Boy Award, which is very prestigious in terms of young players. So that means he's probably on the radar of a lot of clubs in Europe. So if we're looking to replace Jack Butland or even a backup in case he leaves in the summer, leaves in January, I think Ilic is definitely someone that's worth looking at. And again, the transfer market value of 1.7 million. If you can get him for anywhere around 2 million, I think that would be an absolute bargain. No defenders this week, so jumping straight to a midfielder, and Sambu Sissoko looks like a very exciting prospect. 23-year-old Malian midfielder, can play as a 6 or an 8. He's 6'1", plays for FK Kukarici, and his transfer market value is under 1 million. I would be very surprised if we could get him for that number because he's been excellent this season. Just going to some of his key stats. So 18 appearances, just the one assist and no goals, but that's not really what he's game about. He's more of a John Lundstrom type player. I actually looked at the footage of him and thought he's kind of reminded me of a taller N'Golo Kante. 81% pass accuracy, 51% long ball accuracy is really impressive, especially on the 3.1 successful attempts per game. 1.4 interceptions, 2.3 tackles, and then an incredible 8.3 recoveries per game, especially over 18 appearances. That's an excellent number. 70% dribble success is only the 0.8 kind of successful attempts per 90, but again, he's kind of in that Lundstrom mode that will drive forward when he needs to, but he's happy enough to pass the ball off and let the more creative players do the work. 54% ground duels won, again 3.9 per game, and 58% aerial duels won at 2.1 per game. The defensive numbers are excellent when it comes to Sissoko. He's tall, strong, he's very athletic, brilliant in the tackle, he reads the game very well. Again, the 1.4 interceptions and 8.3 recoveries per game kind of highlight that. He puts himself in great positions to pick up loose balls. Again, 2.3 tackles per game, he's not afraid to get stuck in. He's an excellent option for the kind of more defensive midfielder. If we're looking for a rotation option for Lundstram, or if whatever happens and Lundstram can't agree a new deal, I think especially kind of the valuation of under 1 million, like I said previously, I'd be surprised if we could get him for that. But if we could, that would be an absolute bargain for the type of player he is. Again, the profile as well, he's only 23, he's got plenty of room to improve. Having an excellent season in Serbia, and I think his game could transition very well to Scottish football. Moving a bit further up the pitch again, we've got our second Kukurici player in Igor Miladinovic. He's only 20 years old, Serbian, plays in the number 10 position, and transfer market have him valued at 1.5 million. Let's look at some of his key stats. So in 23 appearances, he's got 8 goals and 4 assists, 137 minutes per goal contribution, created 8 big chances with 1.6 key passes per game. The one tackle per game, the 4.4 recoveries. Again, he gets stuck in. He's that similar mould. I look at him as a Todd Cantwell type. Like he's very creative going forward, but he's also not afraid to do the dirty work and working back. 55% dribble success and 1.9 successful attempts per game is very impressive. It shows how comfortable he is on the ball, carries the ball forward very well. He can beat his defender. Again, he's good at creating space, not just for himself, but also others. Foul 1.3 times per game as well, really high. It's not as high, I'm sure Todd Cantwell's number is over 2 fouls per game. But players like that that can carry you forward, can pick up free kicks in dangerous areas are obviously key, especially when you're playing against low blocks. Sometimes set pieces are kind of the way you can get chances. So having players that can try and break the block, but also the fact that they pick up these fouls gives us extra chances from the set plays. And the 47% ground duels won, 4.2 successful wins per game. Just kind of goes along the lines of that he's not afraid to do the dirty work. He is a creative midfielder, but he will press, he will try and win the ball back, which is kind of what you need. It's what kind of gets the fans on side, especially for someone like Cantwell. I think when Todd Cantwell came in, fans thought he would be a bit of a luxury player. I think Miladinovic is in a very similar vein, like he is creative, he's very technical, he's brilliant on the ball, but he will do the hard yards, he will get stuck in, and that's what gets the fans on your side because not everything's going to work. When you're a creative player, not everything's going to come off. There's going to be some times there'll be groans in the crowd, but if you work hard to win the ball back, that is what will get fans on your side. He's a very promising player. I think depending on how things work out with Tom Lawrence, I really like Lawrence in the 10, but also really like him being that bit deeper. So it just depends where the manager wants to play Diamandi. If there is, we're kind of stacked in that area for 10s just now, but if players move and a space opens up, I think Miladinovic, especially at 20, and that kind of valuation of 1.5 million, if we can again get him for anywhere 2.5 million, I think it'd be a kind of great deal for the player trading model going forward. I think he's a great profile and a very interesting player if a slot opens up in that position. Next players, Andrija Radulovic. He's a 21-year-old Montenegrin international. He's been capped 3 times for the national side. Mostly plays on the right, left-footed right winger. 5'10", plays for Vojvodina, and again transfer market value him at around 1.5 million. Looking at his key stats, in 22 appearances this season, he scored 5 goals and got 5 assists. 153 minutes per goal contribution. The 4 big chances created with 1.3 key passes per game. Based purely on those numbers, you might expect him to be a bit higher, but creatively, he's a very talented player. He's very technical, very good on the ball, as can be seen by the dribble success, 46%, 1.1 per game is very high for a winger. He also gets fouled quite a lot, which you can tell by the 1.7 fouls per game. But again, he is a player that works hard up that side of the pitch. So one possession won the final third. It's unusual that players ever get above that kind of threshold of having one possession won the final third per game. So he presses really well. 3.8 recoveries. It's mostly in the top end of the pitch that he kind of does that work. But obviously, as a winger, famously not all wingers track back. It's not that he will never track back. It's just he does more of his pressing when the defenders have the ball and try to put them under pressure to make mistakes. 56% ground duels won, again, is very high for a winger, the 3.1 successful attempts per game. So he does do the work up there. He's very good on the ball. Like I said, he's left footed coming from the right, likes to cut inside, likes to try and get the shot away, very capable of beating his man. Still quite raw at 21. So again, for the player trading model, he's a good player to bring in and kind of develop and sell for a bit of profit, especially with the value around 1.5 million. Again, if you can get any of these players for anywhere around 2.5 million, I think that'd be a really good deal. And Radulovic is no different. If any of you follow the Rangers Journal on Twitter, you'd have known this one is coming. My favourite player in the Serbian league by far, and someone that I'd really implore Rangers to look at. Matheus Saldanha, it's a 24-year-old Brazilian striker who plays for Partizan, and transfer market have him valued at 4.3 million, so he's far and away the most expensive player on the list. But I think if you can get him in that 45 million bracket, then it would be an absolute bargain. Now let's dive into his key stats. 20 appearances this season, 15 goals and 4 assists, a brilliant 109 minutes per goal and 86 minutes per goal contribution. 6 big chances created and 1.2 key passes per game, so it shows he can also create and not just score. 1.5 recoveries, presses pretty well up there. Maybe not in the vein of Dessers, but he does pick up good positions to pick up the loose balls. 66% dribble successes, an incredibly high number in 1.4 per game. And that doesn't take into consideration the fact that he's filled 3.1 times per game, which for a striker is absolutely brilliant. And again, highlighted by the 5 penalties won. He's won 5 penalties this season just on his own. 54% ground duels won, 5.4 successful attempts per game. Again, kind of shows that he'll hustle up there, he'll get involved in the play, he'll do the work defensively as a striker. Kind of similar to what Dessers does. I don't think he's got the energy that Dessers does in the constant pressing, but he is good in the tackle and he's smart in the positions that he puts himself in to pick up the loose balls. And 45% aerial duels won and 2.4 per game. Shows he's pretty handy in there. He's 6'1", maybe not his 40s better, I think, with the ball at his feet, but he still is pretty good in there. Diving a bit deeper into those goal scoring numbers, you can see a 19% conversion rate. He has missed 11 chances in the 20 appearances, but if you compare that to Cyril Dessers, Dessers has a 16% conversion rate and has 20 big chances missed in 25 games. Just to kind of give you an idea of kind of the volume of chances that he puts away, and obviously there still will be chances missed. Every striker misses chances. But just like to use that comparison to Dessers, obviously with how well he's doing now compared to the start of the season, it's just good to compare who is kind of the number one striker in the team compared to who we can bring in the future. So Dana would be a tremendous signing in my eyes. He's brilliant on the ball, good in the air, really good with the ball at his feet and taking on defenders. He's the type of player that will be able to drag the team all the way up the pitch, not just help create for others, but the type of player that will be able to carry the ball 20, 30 yards and then get a shot away or get a goal himself. I just think looking at him, he's no offence to Partizan of the Serbian League, but he's a better player than that league. He deserves a chance to kind of showcase what he can do. Maybe Rangers isn't the next big step. Maybe he's going for a bigger step than that. It also depends on the fee they want. Like I said, transfer market value at over 4 million already. So it just depends how much Partizan they're willing to pay. But I think anywhere in the 4, 5, 6 million kind of region, it's obviously a lot of money to spend. But I do think, based on what I've seen in Sardana so far, it could be worth it. I think he gives that something a bit special that we don't currently have up the top of the pitch, as a striker anyway. So, in my eyes, I think he would be an incredible signing for Rangers and kind of a position that I'd imagine the manager also will be looking to strengthen in the summer. So that's it for this episode. That's 5 players from the Mozart Bet Superliga I think could not only improve the Rangers squad in the future, but some of them could also come in right away and just have a massive impact. So please let me know what you think of this episode, what you think of the players. And again, like I said, I'll put in a poll up on Twitter later today. So go look at the links below, follow us on Twitter, and you'll be able to have kind of an input on the league we do next. And again, tonight the podcast will be live 7:30. I'll be joining Scott, Bob, and Stevie. So please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Watch along with the guys. The content's brilliant. The podcasts have been excellent so far. And tonight will be the first time I'll finally get the chance to come on and talk a bit more about Rangers and what's been happening in recent weeks. So finally, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It gets content out there. Like I said, there's lots more coming. We've got the podcast tonight. We've also got a preview of the Benfica game coming on Sunday, which Ross has done brilliant work on. And again, we'll have the podcast on Monday night to kind of talk over the weekend. So lots to come for the Rangers Journal. So you don't miss anything, like, subscribe, share out the content with everyone you know, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.